Welcome to day 17 of the World Series of Bowling. But the last pattern, we got Shark coming up. We got 6 games today, 6 games tomorrow, and hopefully new game plans, new bowling balls, and better scoring. Because what we had earlier was what I thought some good game plans, some decent strategy, just not the right strategy, I guess. So we're gonna keep an open mind, try and slow it down earlier the first block mentally, make clearer, better decisions, and hopefully it adds up to some good score in the end.
For the Shark Championship, we've got 12 games over 2 days, with the top 24 advancing to a match play bracket and the top 8 receiving a bye in the first round of that bracket. Players will be competing on the 47-foot Shark oil pattern. This is the longest oil pattern of the World Series, and look for players to keep their break points closer to the head pin and away from the gutter. The 12 games for the Shark Championship makes up the last 12 games of qualifying for the World Championship. After these 12 games, the top 50 players move on to the advancers round of the World Championship. After 36 games, Packy currently sits in 103rd and needs to make up over 200 pins on the field to get into the top 50. Here's the top 16 for the World Championship after 3 events, with Boog, BJ, and Mitch all sitting in the top 10. Now here's Packy's first 6 games at the Shark Championship.
He's just gonna hit the reset button. I am hyped to tell you Packy took over the lead after day 1 at the Shark Championship, averaging nearly 238 with 3 games over 260. Malaysian Ahmad Fishal sits in second, 3 pins behind Packy. The best bowler on the planet, EJ Tackett, sits in third. House guest Cam Crow is in fourth,
averaging 235. Lefty Justin Knowles had the only perfect game in round 1 and sits in 5th. Chris Vi has been getting a little better every day at the World Series and sits in 17th. Boog is back in the top 24 at 20th. After round 1, it takes an average of 225.5 to crack the top 24. Here's how the house guys sit after round 1. If you're a house hack like me, next time you go to league, wear one of our awesome t-shirts that you can find at thehousebowling.com and use code PBA25 to save 10% all season long. Packy has a lot riding in the next 6 games at the Shark Championship. Obviously, he's trying to get that first round bye at the Shark Championship, but he's also moved into 64th at the World Championship and needs to jump 14 more spots to secure his spot in the advancers round of the World Championship.
First block, I went 227 over, leading the pack. And then the second day, I went an additional 202 over, not leading the overall pack, but leading my squad. And then we ended up qualifying 3rd overall. I got a first round bye straight into the top 16 match play, which is going to happen next week. And that secondary block of 202 over actually squeaked me 30 pins into the World Championship cuts. Right now I'm sitting in 45th, so I got a big hill to climb, about 300 pins back, but there are plenty of games to go with it being a 16 game overall. So right now I got to lock in, get ready for the World Championships, and then Shark next week. So for me, huge block, really kind of not, I wouldn't say saved the season, but saved a little bit of the mentality up here where, you know, you can say that you can do it, you can believe that you can do it, but you know, there's just a little extra something about actually doing it, actually striking that much, actually making the cuts that helps just affirm some of that belief. So for right now, got to keep that belief high and maybe make a run at the top 16 for the World Championships, but on to practice tomorrow.
Malaysian Ahmed Fishal led the Shark Championship, averaging 239.33. EJ Tackett earned the 2 seed, averaging 237, and became the only player to make the top 16 for all 4 standard World Series events. Packy needed a 239 in Game 12 to take the lead, but came up a little bit short and sits in 3rd, but secured himself a first round bye in the match play bracket. Jesper Svensson is back in match play for the 3rd time this week, sitting in 4th. For the 3rd time this week, Matt Ogle made a ridiculous comeback in round 2 to make the cut. He was in 66th after round 1, but in round 2 he averaged 255 and jumped to 5th place. I don't know what adjustments Matt's been making between day 1 and day 2 at these events, but it's been pretty ridiculous. Justin Knowles is in 6th, Jacob Buttriff makes another match play appearance sitting in 7th, and Englishman Ben Robinson rounds out the top 8. It took an average of 223.25 to make the top 24 at the Shark Championship. That's 18 pins lower than it took to make the top 24 at the Chameleon. Here are the remaining qualifiers and your matchups for the first round of match play at the Shark Championship. The The matches in the round of 24 are best of 5 games, and here's how those went. Tim Foy Jr. is having an excellent World Series, and he beat Numan Uzri in 4 games. Jason Belmonte advances to the top 16 for the 3rd tournament in the World Series, beating Nate Stubler 3 games to 1. Tom Smallwood took down Francois Lavoie in 3 games. Kyle Troop beat Richie Teese 3-1. Ryan Barnes took down Jord Van Wieren in 5 games, winning the deciding game 258 to 247. Ryan's been a guest on our channel a number of times, and now he matches up against Packy in the round of 16. Chris Vi took down Nathan Bohr in 3 games. We saw 20-year-old Landon Jordan make his TV debut earlier this year, and he took down Rafiq Ishmael in 4 games. Perez swept Crow and advances to the round of 16 to face EJ Tackett. Here are your matchups for the round of 16. The remaining players will continue in the match play bracket on March 19th. The 4 winners in the bracket plus the highest seeded loser will qualify for the 5-man stepladder finals. Now that we're through with 48 games of qualifying at the World Championship, the top 50 players are moving on to the advancers round. These players will compete in 2 8-game rounds before we cut to the top 16. The field was led by EJ Tackett, who showed once again that he is without a doubt the best player on the planet, averaging 237 for 48 games on 4 different patterns. Here's the top 16 players heading into the advancers round. Packy's massive performance at the Shark Championship propelled him from 103rd to 45th, and he is in the advancers round at the World Championship. Chris Prather also snuck in at 44th. The Shark Championship TV finals will be contested live on FS1 on March 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern. On the 19th, come back and watch this video to get a recap of the event. Follow the round of 16 and round of 8 scores on PBA.com, and then check out the TV show in the evening. We are cheering hard for Packy to make the TV show at the Shark Championship next week. The advancers round for the World Championship begins on March 13th, and we're going to have a lot of bowling to tune into on FS1 next week.